welcome to another live. So, this time we're going to be going over the market and what's going on. So, right now we're seeing a lot of change. Overall, the market is going in the same direction, but we're going to kind of cover how, even though the market as a whole is doing one thing, your local market might not be doing the same thing. So, let's see here. We're have a little bit of tabbing here as we kind of try to keep track of what's going on. I can't see the chat while I'm on this page, so I'm hoping that you guys can still see everything and that it still works when I tab out. Usually it has a better window for me to work with. Let me see if I can fix that setting somehow. Nope, wrong button. Okay. Well, it's going to be what it's going to be. So let's just dig right in and take a look at what's going on in the market right now. So, first and foremost, as the market as a whole, when we go into the springtime like we are right now, let me see actually. Is this going to fix it if I push this button? Maybe making everything worse. Share. This one. Share. Okay. Don't know. Maybe that helped, maybe it didn't. But as we look at the market as a whole, as we go into spring, we're typically expecting to see the market start to expand out. We typically see prices increase and just general growth happen. I think I'd be a little more prepared for this. Done it so many times. Where'd we go? There we go. Now we can see it better. So, just like last year, we typically expect to see stuff kind of rise from now until around August, give or take, and then start to go down. That's typically the trend. But the biggest issue we're having is rates. Rates are up, and they're up a lot. Right now, where are rates at today? It changes just about every day, which I don't have it memorized. Looks like right now we're down a little bit, but we're still at for a 30-year standard for about 6.7%. A lot of people are getting higher than that because their credit isn't perfect. So, as we keep rising these interest rates, for every 1% the interest rates go up, your purchasing power goes down by just about 10%. So your monthly payment goes up about 10% for every 1% the rates rise. It's not quite exactly the number, but as a ballpark to keep it straight in your head, that's the way to go. So as we've had these rates increase, people can only afford so much. So we're expecting normally in most normal springs to see a lot more sales happen, a lot of people moving, and a lot more action than we saw in the holidays, January, February. But as the economy as a whole, as they've raised these rates, we're expecting to see a lot less happen because people with low rates don't want to leave their house and sell at a 2 or 3% and then buy at a 7%. And a lot of buyers that were getting ready to buy and were really excited, they purchased when rates were low, and the people that are kind of entering the market now are growing and they're interested, but they weren't as ready as that main excited demographic that we had when the market initially did its thing when the rates came down. So our expectation here would be normally to see prices start to rise, see inventory start to rise, and see everything start to grow. And what we're seeing here is the number of active listings dropped dramatically, and now it's coming up slightly. We're starting to see the number of sale listings increase slightly. Listing prices actually kind of dropped. The median sales price is right about where it was, which is, again, bizarre because in the spring it typically goes up. Thought it went down. Didn't. It's the same. And we're starting to see this absorption rate creep up. Absorption rate is if we were to stop listing homes today, how long would it take for us to sell all of our inventory? We're at about 1.7 months supply. So while the inventory was dropping for a while there for the holiday season, the inventory is starting to creep up again. In a healthy market where we have an equal number of buyers and sellers, we want to see this at about a 4-month supply. So as much as there may be doom and gloom on the news, right now we still have a very strong seller's market. We need to have a little over twice as many twice as many sellers show up to sell their homes, and we need the number of buyers to stay the same. So right now, I'm not expecting there to be a buyer's market, but we'll talk about that more in a minute. but overall, it's still a very strong seller's market compared to what we would consider a neutral market. And overall, we are seeing prices kind of get a little more competitive. The sold to list ratio is a little bit confusing because as we look up here, the listing prices tend to be very high, and then the actual sales price is quite low. So there's a really big gap between what sellers are wanting and what sellers are getting. So we're starting to see them come back to reality a little bit more. So we're going to see the original, or we're going to see the sales price ratio catch up, I think, slowly over time here as sellers finally do understand that interest rates do impact their prices. Countywide, the days on the MLS have been up and up and up, and now they're starting to creep down. We are at 51 days. Normally in our market, we like to see somewhere around where we're at between 30 and 60. That's usually pretty normal. When it gets above 60, that usually means that stuff's sitting for a really long time. But it's a deceptive number because this is the average, right? So let me do median. So there are a lot of homes right now that are selling in record time, like in some of them in the same time as we used to see last year and the year before, where it's just gone over a weekend. Those are homes that are priced competitively, and they're getting bidding wars and having all the same stuff we used to see. We're also seeing a lot of people that are trying to get top dollar for their home and setting really high expectations for their list price, and they're just not moving. So I think this days on market is going to continue to creep up. I think it was brought down slightly by a little boost in brand new listings, but I believe that our days on market are going to continue to go up because there's a lot of people that will list their home and then say, you know what, if I can't sell it for that price, I'm just not going to sell it. And they're not selling it. So it's just sitting on the market for a long time. So we're seeing a lot of homes just sitting and never selling, and a lot of homes selling in record time, and a couple homes in the middle that are selling, in a reasonable amount of time, but that's less common right now with the way our market is. When we look at the real data here, we've got our absorption rate is up to 1.69 compared to 0.98 last year. Our median list price is actually slightly higher than it was, which is interesting, but our median sales price is way down. Countywide, our median sales price is only $750,000 compared to $805,000 this time last year. That's a 7% decrease. So let's talk about sales price and how it changes year over year. Out here in Ventura County, we typically see somewhere between, in the really bad years, a 1% increase, and a really good year, maybe as much as a 5% increase in price. So for us to see a 6%, almost 7% reduction in that price is huge. That's bigger than, sometimes bigger than we'd see in 2 years combined, right? So what I think is happening is that, again, as we raise these interest rates, we've gone from roughly 3% to roughly 7%. It's a 4% increase. That means buyers can afford 40% less house. So we are going to see prices, I think, continue to slip. I would be personally shocked if the median fell, even at the bottom, if it fell below 700,000. That's my prediction. It's going to fall another $50,000. But the problem is that I think most buyers are waiting for that price reduction, even though it's relatively small. It's not even going to quite be 10%. It's going to be about 10% from where we're at right now. A little less than that. But the rates are going to continue to increase. The Fed just came out and was talking about what they're going to be doing with rates. It looks like they're going to be skyrocketing. So even if you can save, say 10% on the total purchase price, if your rate is 1% higher, you're not saving any money on your monthly payment. On the overall purchase, sure. Will you be able to refinance? Probably. But there's a lot of really rough nuance in there that I think if buyers wait to buy because they're trying to get a good deal, I think they might put themselves in a really bad spot. And this is the same for sellers. If you're trying to sell your home, my concern is that as prices continue to go down, you're going to have less money in your pocket for your move. And as rates increase, you're going to basically be able to buy a lot less of an upgrade the longer that you wait. When we look at the median days on market, it's about double. We're at 31 days compared to 16. So overall, everything has slowed down. Buyers are not super excited about the new prices. Sellers aren't really excited to leave their great rates and their great deal they have. I do have a lot of sellers that have reached out to me and been like, oh my gosh, I'm upside down on my home. What am I going to do? For anyone in that situation, my advice is just hang tight. Even if you sold your home and bought a new one, your monthly payment would be much higher than you're currently paying. So if you don't need to move, don't move. Enjoy where you're at. It's a good payment, good place to live. Even though the price was a little high, you got a steal on the interest rate. Now, the big thing here is going to be the number of sold and the number of active listings. So far this year, let's look at this year to date because that's just as good as this month. This year to date, we've only sold 642 homes compared to 996 last year. This last month, we sold 330 compared to 513 last year. So we're not quite selling half as many homes. We're seeing very few listings sold in general. Even in my farm here in Newbury Park, my farm would be the area I'm really advertising to. I really focus on about 1,500 homes. Out of those 1,500 homes, right now, 0 are for sale. So we're not seeing a lot of homes selling right now. People just aren't too excited about it. But if we look at active listings and new listings, year to date, the number of active listings countywide is 2,092 compared to 1,591 this year. So the number of active listings is actually pretty similar to what we saw last year, but the number sold is much, much lower. And when we're looking at the number of new listings year to date, again, new listings are down about 30%. So what are we seeing? Again, just people not excited to move. Now, the interesting thing here is it's not hitting every neighborhood the same. Every single city is seeing a different situation. So when we look at Newbury Park, for example, the median sales price in Newbury Park is down only about 3.5%, right? When we compare that to, where's a good one? That one's pretty good, but I think Camarillo is the craziest. Where'd Camarillo go? Is Oxnard worse? I'm not sure. Oxnard. Yeah, median sales price in Oxnard is only down 2.5%. But when we look at Camarillo, Camarillo's median sales price is down 15%. So as you're watching this and you're watching the market, you need to keep in mind that your specific community is going to be impacted differently than others. And we are seeing areas like Camarillo hit the hardest. Moore Park is down 4%. So again, relatively low compared to other areas. When we look at Westlake, they are down, where do we go? 16%. So Westlake is seeing probably the greatest year over year price reduction of any of the cities near my farm, at least. And if you want to go over how your city is doing, don't forget that I've got that HomeBot. I'll put it in the link below or link somewhere. But the HomeBot's going to give you an update on your market and your city and everything that's going on with your home and the area every month. That way you can kind of keep tabs on this if you are interested. But like for me, as I need to buy something in the near future, I need a place to live. My eyes are definitely on Camarillo because the prices are affordable, prices are going down, and that might be a good place to live just because the prices there are going down quicker. So when you're marketing your home and listing your home, you don't necessarily want to use county averages as much as you want to use your specific city and specific situation. So whatever you got going on, make sure you're talking with your realtor and you're not just pulling the average for the county, but coming up with a good customized plan for selling your home. Now, on the same token, how can we make your home more appealing? If homes are not selling as often, we've got these rates, we've got these things going on. Are there any tricks that we have for buyers and for sellers in this market to help them? Well, we're going to have to refer over to a good buddy of mine, Cole Fitzgerald. I'll put a link for his video down below. But there is a new program through Cal HFA that's coming out near the end of this month that's going to possibly waive your PMI, your mortgage insurance, if you do less than 20% down on your home. And that will make buying a home much more affordable. So I think that we will see prices hold a little bit more steady in the entry-level condos, entry-level home market because of that program. We're also going to see a little bit of a bump, I think, in marketing right now. you're going to notice that in the last couple of years, a lot of realtors were able to take cell phone pictures and get top dollar for homes. And as the market's getting more competitive, having a real estate agent that will actually market and get your home out there is going to be really important, because back when the home would sell in less than 30 days, you could get away with a lot, right? I think it was as low as 20 days, way back when it was quite low. Now that we're at 51, you want to get as many eyeballs on your home and get your buyers as good of a deal as you can. So I'm expecting to start see more credits for buyers. I'm expecting to see sellers have to give a little bit more to sweeten the pot, but still keep in mind that it's still a very, very good market for sellers. One of the big things that is going to be huge in the future of homeownership, I think, is going to be that you can sometimes assume someone else's mortgage. So, in the case that you have a really, really low rate, if you have certain programs, you may be able to pass that mortgage to the next potential buyer. And if you can do that, your home becomes worth its weight in gold. You'll be able to sell it for much, much more than the neighbor because it's an assumable loan. So, if you are considering selling, make sure you talk to whoever you have to talk to, realtor, lender, everyone else, to see if your mortgage is assumable, because that could put you in a place to sell your home for a lot more than anybody else on your street. I think we're also going to see a lot more work put into homes to clean them up and get them nice and neat and in good shape, ready for showings. But in general, we're starting to see some really big shifts in this real estate market. My favorite title escrow company, Timios, recently closed their office here in Ventura County. So we're not working with them anymore. I've seen a very significant uptick in the number of people retiring, whether it's inspectors, escrow, realtors, and what have you. So we're going to start seeing some really weird behavior in the real estate market. My prediction overall is that prices will continue to drop, but rates will continue to rise enough to offset those lowered prices. I think that we're going to see generally a very tough time here for real estate, which is going to make it even more important, like I said, to hire really, really good teams to make sure that you're able to sell and buy for a really good price. So if you have any questions about real estate or the real estate market, let's see, can I turn this guy off? If you have any questions about real estate or the real estate market, you know what to do. Call Castro. I would love to go over the specific plan for your home, your listing, anything that's going on, update you on what specifically is going on in your city. And if you need anything in the world, you know what to do. Call Castro. I'll talk to you guys next time.